Welcome to our community chat. I'm Diane Estes from the Lebanon School District, and I am the Director of School and Community Relations. And we're very excited to be here today to introduce you to some new folks that are on the administrative team at the SAU Central Office that work with the entire district. So thank you for watching. So this is part two. You might have caught our first one where we introduced you to Dr. Roberts, who is here again with us today, and Christine Downing, our District Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, and of course our Business Administrator, Tim Ball. But today's guests are very special as well, and that is Mr. Peter Merritt.
Hi, my name's Peter Merritt. I am the Director of Technology. I've worked in technology for around 35 years. My background is mainly military. I am a retired military Army. I came into the school community a few years as a data management person. I'm a database administrator. Also, my background is in networking and communications. And that's where I come from. I am local to the Upper Valley, and I am glad to be in the Lebanon School District.
Excellent. Well, welcome, Peter.
Thank you.
And it's interesting, we have a few military people on our administrative team. Dana, would you, so this is Dana Airy, and he is the Director of Facilities for the entire school district. Not a small job, certainly. So would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm actually a Vermont resident, originally moved to New Hampshire a number of years ago, and have been in the Upper Valley for about 35 years. And just changed careers. I was a civil and environmental engineer for a local engineering firm and chose to do a little bit of a career change. And this opportunity to join the Lebanon School District staff came about. So I took the opportunity, and here I am today.
That's great, great. And Dr. Roberts, thank you very much for coming back and sitting in. It must have been a pretty good experience the first time around.
Fabulous.
Oh, fabulous.
Because of you.
Oh, thank you. Well, do you mind if you would just tell the viewers again a little bit about yourself? They may not have seen part one of our Meet the SAU Central Office administrative team.
Sure.
Thank you.
So I was a double major in biology and education. When I first came out of college, I did a lot of work in research at Stony Brook University. And then I joined the Environmental Health and Safety Department. I really missed students, so I went back and I taught high school biology and 7th and 8th grade science. We were visiting family a lot in upstate New York, so we moved from Long Island to Hanover about 20 years ago. My master's is in special education. I have a CAGS in educational leadership, and my doctorate is in educational leadership. My dissertation was on collaboration with parents and educators, so that's a real passion of mine.
Thank you. Well, welcome to all of you for taking the time to be here today. And, you know, our goal is just to let the Lebanon viewers, the Upper Valley viewers, and the Lebanon taxpayers know a little bit about what's going on in our Lebanon schools, just to give them kind of a peek on the inside, because I think it's easy to not really know. You may just see what's written in the newspaper, or maybe you go to vote and you step up to the booth and you're asked to vote on some things that maybe they're not as clear on. So by bringing you in, and thank you again for doing that, and really talking a little bit about your department and your world, it's our goal to give folks, I think, a little bit of clarity. So Peter, why don't we start with you and just tell us a little bit about what does district technology, what does that really mean for the Lebanon School District?
Well, district technology, we manage all the computer systems, the network, anything that deals with computers, wireless network connections. We have in the district about almost 1,200 devices. And that is just computer and Chromebooks. That's not even counting our iPads and all our mobile devices. We have approximately 24 Chromebook carts that are shared from classroom to classroom. They are mobile. They hold about 24 either Chromebooks or computers in the carts, and they're able to go into the classroom and actually be used for the teacher's curriculum when they're needed. This is a real neat technology. It's all wireless, and it actually puts a device in each student's hands to go along with the lesson.
Wow. So is that something a teacher would sign up for, or?
That's something a teacher would sign up for and be able to use. We've got enough of them where pretty much we've been able to cover all of their classes and all the uses they have needed for them. One of the additional uses for these is our state testing.
I see, yes.
Between the NEWA testing and the Smarter Balance testing, these Chromebook carts and laptop carts are used extensively for that.
That's great. Sounds very interesting and complicated at the same time. Keeping track of all of those.
Well, keeping track of them. I have got a staff, basically director of technology. I oversee a department. And in my department, I have a system administrator, a person who handles all our servers, all our back-end equipment that's needed to run. Then I have the network administrator who's responsible for the Wi-Fi and keeping the network up and running. A support technician, if a computer breaks, he's the one that goes out. He handles what we call the service desk, where the teachers are able to put in their problems with computers or any technology into the service desk, and that person would go out and troubleshoot the equipment. And then I also have an applications coordinator. This person handles all of our mobile device. She does a lot with our web pages. She actually goes down into the classrooms and helps out teachers with the technology and how to use them. On top of just my department, not each of the schools, the high school and the middle school have what they call a technology integrator, which we work very closely with. That person is down there to support the technology and actually help out teachers putting technology to use in the classrooms. What's the best way to use it? Sometimes they'll do labs, working with labs with the students. So there's a lot going on with the technology.
And now when, I think it's easy to immediately think that technology, well, that means for me, oh, okay, well that means maybe my tablet, maybe my computer. But technology in the school world also includes those smart boards, doesn't it?
Okay, we support basically what I call projectors. A smart board is just another projection media. We have enough projection media to cover every teacher's classroom in the district. It's between the smart boards, the LCD projectors. We have short throw projectors, which stick out about 24 inches from the wall and actually displays right on the whiteboard. And then we actually have interactive projectors. A lot like the smart boards, a little better technology. They're able to actually run it just like a smart board, actually write on the lesson what they're projecting. And some of them have gone as far as being able to just use your finger to write with, just like an iPad.
I'm fascinated, and you might be too, Joanne, when you go into the classroom and students are up at the smart board or the board and actually doing their lessons right there with the whole class being involved at the same time. It really has changed learning.
It really has. Being able to be interactive with the classroom and have these technologies at your fingertips. In math, they can go up and the teacher can put a problem up on the board and they can actually go up with a pen and actually do out the problem, maybe receive instructions from the teacher while the whole class is looking at it, looking at the same thing the student is doing. And it's very helpful. They're able to show videos, a lot of different technologies through this. where
excuse me, I
just
didn't
a
mean to
few,
interrupt.
well, just a few years ago, the technology was, it was far-reaching because the prices of projectors,
Right.
they have come down so much in price, even over the past 5 years, that being able to get this technology in every classroom is amazing.
But one other thing that I noticed as well, and that is the ability for a teacher to take their learning far-reaching. In other words, this one particular teacher was doing Skyping with a screenwriter in Hollywood. And the students had the problem of writing a scene or something like that. But yet they were talking with this writer from Hollywood to talk about how to refine it and how to just change it up and things like that. Fascinating that
It really is fascinating.
learning is all far-reaching.
It is very far-reaching. One of the things is Schools Without Borders. A lot of the classes are doing these interactive sessions with other countries. And it's really amazing, the technology. One of the new technologies, Google Apps is one of the great technologies that are wonderful for this. They have their Hangouts where they can actually be in a classroom over in a different country and actually have the kids talk back and forth. They become pen pals. They share things with them. Sometimes different cultures, they're sending stuff back and forth and learning about that culture. So it's wonderful.
Right. It's a wonderful way to open up the world to our students that, because we do live in a smallish community, and it's great to have that.
One of the other technologies I like talking about is the mobile devices, the iPads,
Sure.
things like that. Those are wonderful devices for like elementary, where they don't quite have the eye-hand coordination to work with computers. One of the big things is getting computer technology in starting at the kindergarten level.
Really?
And basically these devices they're able to point on them and actually touch them and control them just by touch. And that has advanced the learning classroom a long ways at the elementary level.
Fascinating. Well, Dana, I think it's your turn. Would you like to tell us a little bit about the school district and its facilities and what you feel like the Upper Valley might want to know about our buildings?
Well, it's probably not as exciting as technology is, but I'll try to put
No.
my spin on it to be as
Buildings
creative
are
as
important
possible.
because without the buildings, we wouldn't hold the
That's right.
technology.
So facilities is really about the maintenance of the buildings, the grounds, and even moving it forward to looking at capital improvements projects and small to large upgrades of the different buildings and facilities. So I have a staff of 24 people. 5 of them are maintenance people. They're responsible for basically the fix-up stuff, work orders that are put out, and 5 people are going from school to school, building to building, room to room, whatever, and maintaining things that need to be fixed. Work orders are put out by staff at each school as well as myself, things that we see that need to be corrected within those buildings and structures and the grounds themselves. I also have 19 custodial staff, which are responsible for making sure that the schools are clean, disinfected, obviously looking at the health and safety of students and staff. So they play a real key role in making sure that the facilities are clean and properly sanitized. So that's their major role. Me is to make sure to coordinate all of that staff in a very functional method, as well as looking at the facilities for what we're going to need for future upgrades. Having come out of the engineering field, as I said, for 25 years in engineering, I spent 14 years actually in a public works setting. So I've had this private, public, municipal experience. I think I have a good diverse background to understand about how we plan for the future as well. And I understand that in the previous session, you may have spoken about the capital improvements plan, which there is one. It's projected out 10 or 15 years. And what I will do is to put my spin on that same capital improvements plan based upon my knowledge and also what I see within those plans, and see what the facilities themselves are going to need.
That must be hard to do.
Nothing.
I guess, so with your experience, so you bring the experience of knowing the life expectancy of most things. So in other words, is there, for a boiler, boilers live X number of years routinely, or is that those the kinds of things you're speaking of, Dana?
Well, yeah, when you take a capital improvements plan, you're really taking items that have a certain value dollar. You determine a value, or an estimated value, and then you determine the replacement or the life cycle of each piece of equipment. And generally, if it's under $5,000 or $10,000, and this is something that the administration will be working on, is what is that value? If it's, say, $10,000 and over, then it goes into a capital improvements plan. If it's $10,000 and under, we put it in the operating budget to be repaired, maintained, or whatever. But what we're looking for is not to have those surprises where a piece of equipment, you used a boiler, I'll use the same example, that all of a sudden it's reached its useful life and it's no longer functioning, and now there's a $50,000 or $80,000 capital need.
Sure.
Now there's different ways to budget. You can either find that from some kind of a surplus, or you can put funds away over the life cycle of that piece of equipment so that when it does wear out, you have the money already available. There's different ways to budget. That's Tim Ball, our business administrator's world, which he will dictate to us how we establish that protocol. And so I'm looking forward to working with Tim in that fashion, but it will be my responsibility to find those key items and determine costs and then replacement costs. So.
And to connect this a bit with part one, when we were talking about one of our goals as an SAU administration is to really audit, to get a sense of where we are and where is it that we want to go. So we know that the taxpayers have definitely supported the budgets. And so they want to know, well, we supported this technology piece, or we supported this for facilities. How is it working? And can you, we need to get back to the stakeholders and say, yes, this worked really well, and here are some things that we want to move forward in the future, kind of that whole idea of having a strategic plan for everything. And that's something that, although Dana just began in May, and Pete just began end of August?
End of August,
End of
yes.
August.
And basically, I'm in that part right now, evaluating where we are with technology, and trying to come up with a plan, sort of a life cycle replacement plan.
Yeah.
Basically, you put in a certain number of computers this year, and then again the following year. Well, at the end of that life cycle, you start the whole process over. And you're replacing the oldest machines with newer technology, and that's how you try to stay up with technology also.
And that's happening all the time. Because
Oh, yes. Technology doubles yearly now. It's amazing how fast and how much equipment is available to us out there.
Right. And you don't see the need stopping.
No,
And in the world, it's not stopping.
no, and basically it's just trying to keep up with that technology.
Right.
And coming up with these plans, these life cycle plans, keeps you up with that technology. The optimum might be 3 years on a computer. We might try to stretch that a little bit further and come up with like a 4-year plan or a 5-year plan. So we're not replacing all the equipment at once. We're replacing a portion of it each year. And that's what we have to maintain. And that's part of the tech department's process.
So Dana, could you speak on, I know that some changes have been made to like the security in some of the buildings.
Sure, and this is rather evolving also. Obviously, the safety of the students in schools in many different fashions is very important today. And having secure facilities because of some of the unusual circumstances that have occurred in this country over the last few years, and I'm sure I would like to hope it would get better, but you never know. We're trying to protect our community and our students at the same time. And in the last couple of years, they've began the institution of a lot of security measures. One of them is the high school and the middle school are secure facilities in that in order to get through the doors during the daytime, you have to have either a fob device, which is basically an electronic key, which is programmed according to who you are and what positions you are. Or at the high school, for instance, all the students have swipe cards. It's an ID system, but it's a card that allows them access into the building by swiping the card, and then the doors will unlock so you can come in. And that's the same with staff. They don't have a card, they have a fob device. But in not all of the doors, there's only a few doors in each facility that actually you can get in with an electronic style key. So it kind of helps protect where you can get in and out. There's obviously, well, in addition to that, we've put in a number of cameras at the different schools. The high school is just in near completion of an upgrade to some additional cameras in that facility. The Hanover Street School is completing its first version of cameras. Mount Lebanon School is in the process of getting a very small system for them. In the middle school, when that one was built, of course the new middle school went online, operational in 2012, that one was outfitted with the camera system also. Now, it's not something that we're looking to be like one of the alphabet soup agencies of our government here where we're trying to spy on people, but what we're really trying to do is when a situation arises, we have the ability to go and try to figure out what did happen. And it's really for the protection of students and staff, parents, and so forth. So it's a good thing. A lot of people may take it the wrong way, that it's infringement upon their rights, and that's negotiable, but we're looking at it as to how we can protect our students and staff. Where we're headed with all this is develop a very detailed policy, which I'll be working on with other staff people, as to what it all means, why it's all there, and how we use that to our advantage. It's obviously important that all our doors stay locked in our schools, but we have still occurrences where on a hot day someone will want to prop open a door. Well, it's contrary to what we're trying to do, which is to keep that facility safe. We have the students that will see their friend outside and we'll let them through the door, and hopefully that friend is truly a friend. But I mean, that is where the schools, our school system is headed, and we may be a sort of leading edge. I don't think a lot of the other districts, certainly in this area, in Vermont and New Hampshire, are in that arena yet. I certainly am sure that other larger school systems probably have similar type systems, but we're definitely headed there, and we're probably 75% of the way through this program. And I think it will be very helpful for us, and it will be something that will help the community feel safer, that when their children are at school, that at least we have some type of, potentially a deterrent, if nothing else. It won't prevent something from happening, but it may help deter it.
Well, and I also see it as protecting our assets, and I mean, our physical buildings as well, because I know that there have been times, not necessarily here in Lebanon, but vandalism and things like that. So,
well, and every district's going to have that, and we've had our share of it too. Now we'll have the ability to find the responsible parties. We've had a recent incident in which we were able to solve the problem, and so it does have its value in that respect. Yeah.
The other thing that you didn't speak on, Peter, was district technology. It's not all about hardware.
No, it's not. A lot of it is about software.
So could you talk just a little bit about that? Because of course, some of our viewers, of course, would have students in the schools and be maybe familiar with Power School and things like that.
Now, Power School is one of the big examples of a student information system where we can share the information with the parents of how the student is doing. They'll see their grades, they'll see their assignments. Now, this is only at the middle school and high school level right now, but in the future, it probably will be down to the elementary level. Other software packages may include like the School Reach, our parent notification system, and then there's the software packages that the children are working with, the students. They're working with like Microsoft Office, some of the industry standard software that they'll be using once they graduate. Some of the arts department are using like the Adobe suites where you've got the Adobe Photoshop for photo editing, movie editing. There is so much out there, and basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to prep the students for when they graduate, going on to college, going out into the workforce, what are the things that the business force is using.
Yes, my son in college, and it's probably the same, your son in college as well. I think he had, of his 4 years, he might have had 3 textbooks, 3 hard textbooks. Everything else was an electronic textbook.
And that's another place where we're going. You'll find these mobile carts that a lot of the teachers are using these as their textbooks now. They're not buying the hard textbook. They're buying the other textbook at a much reduced price, and technology has to be figured into that into that concept.
So it must be changing the libraries as well, and the
Definitely.
reference section of a library in particular, or something like that.
And I think that's the movement toward a library media specialist.
Yes.
They have such complex responsibilities. And the other thing I think about when I think about textbooks, and you're big onto health and fitness, when you think about the weight of those backpacks on
Oh,
students'
yes.
backs, I mean, it's just much healthier for students to be able to access things. Or you can't forget your textbook anymore because you can pull it right up there.
And then they also have access at home without carrying it home.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, there's that real physical posture piece of
Sure,
that
of course.
that is really going to be beneficial to all of our
So
students.
building the healthy student in all ways. Yeah.
Very much
Yeah.
so. And one of the things you might want to mention, Dana, is that we've had quite a bit of discussion about the high school gym.
Sure.
Oh,
And
yes.
maybe you could just do a
Yeah.
quick update on that and the
Sure.
bleachers.
This summer, the gym at the high school was completely, basically taken apart to be rebuilt. So the floor, started off with removing the floor. The old hardwood that was there, some of the hardwood was saved. The athletic director, Zach Stevenson, was spearheading a program where we'd save some of the floor. The shop class working to make those into
Like,
memorabilia.
yes, exactly.
And saving pieces of the floor. The big Lebanon and the Raiders that was on the floor was saved, and the plan is to put some type of a borders on them and then auction those off to raise some funds. But the whole floor was removed, and obviously whenever you start some kind of a project, you'll always find something that you didn't know was there,
It's like
which
when
we
you-
encountered, which was asbestos underneath the old gym floor, which was a rather unique, talk about history.
Really?
But the original high school gymnasium, which had a tile, 9x9 tile floor, was still there. Unfortunately, those 9x9 tiles were asbestos, so we had to do a very accelerated asbestos abatement project. But we did finally get that taken care of, the floor put in, the lines all put down on the floor, and we have new bleachers on order and replace the old ones that had been there for many, many years, and they were in pretty rough shape. Those bleachers should be arriving later in October with installation early November. The basketball backstops, originally it was planned to only replace 3 of them, but as another one of those hidden secrets we encountered, that the gymnasium was not originally constructed symmetrically. So when we went to paint the floor, we did not want to paint it so it wasn't symmetrical, which led to us having to remove and replace all the baskets. So new baskets on order also. Again, those should be in early November with installation just following the bleacher installation. There's a new center curtain going in, which divides the gym into 2 smaller areas for the physical education classes and their needs. And the last piece going in there is a multi-purpose like batting cage or cage that they can use for different sports. So if they want to hit baseballs or softballs or throw lacrosse balls or something, they can do it within a netted area, which is a whole lot more safe than it's sort of wildness.
The
around
alternative,
the
right?
gym. Yeah. So the gym hopefully will be complete, 100% complete by mid-November. Basketball season starting in mid-November, the preseason, and then obviously games in early December. So we are under the gun a little bit to complete that project. But hopefully, if the stars all line up the rest of the way, we'll be all set.
So,
Just in time for basketball season.
right, and the viewers should be on the lookout for information about a grand opening for the gymnasium. So you'll be surely hearing about that a little bit more as we come closer to the completion date and all the pieces. Sort of like, when you start a project at your house, right, Dana?
Sure.
Where we were just going to paint, but
Right.
no.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with older buildings, of which the high
Sure.
school and the Hanover Street School are, you're
Yeah.
going to always find some surprises, and it wasn't something that was completely unexpected, but it happened, and we got through it, and
Right.
in the end, there's a lot of excitement of the students, especially coming back to school that first day, and everybody's trying to peer into the gym. Of course, it wasn't ready, and we were trying to restrict use of the gym, but it was so neat to see the excitement on their faces, because it did change, by the way. I mean, those folks from Lebanon will recall that the lower part of the walls in there were all maroon colored, and the gym was rather dark. The floor over time will darken in color, so now it's a nice bright colored floor, light colored maple. We removed the maroon from about 6 feet to the floor. We removed it, but only left 2 of the cement block color. So it's a band, it's a ring of just the maroon. So the atmosphere has really changed in the gym. It's a much brighter, bring more energy to our teams using the gym.
It'll bring more energy. Good. Fabulous. Dana, do you want to just really briefly, before we finish up, talk about Finance and Facilities Committee, or just let viewers know a little bit about what that is and what you do?
Sure. Finance and Facilities is a committee of the school board, of which the administration, myself, Dr. Roberts, and Tim Ball are on. And the real focus is to sort of preempt the entire board for the things that we're seeing and occurring for facilities needs in the district, so we can begin to discuss them with a smaller group of the board, so that then it can be the entire board can be enlightened as we progress through the different pieces and parts of our needs. So that's what Finance and Facilities is all about. It's a great committee of, I say that we can sort of vent things and vet things out earlier, and then refine them before it goes to the entire board. That's what we're doing.
Okay, good. Thank you. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to be sure to tell our viewers today about your area? Dr. Roberts, didn't give you a lot of opportunity to talk, but it was great.
Yeah, I think showcasing what they do is just so important.
Right.
They both do an excellent job, and they really keep the whole school system running, and you don't get to highlight that often and really hear what goes behind the scenes.
Right.
And I think it's important for the community to know that I'm very much invested and interested in all the different aspects, and we are really looking critically, but also looking for opportunities wherever we can. So I'm glad you guys came.
Yeah, me too. It's kind of like taking a peek behind the curtain.
Yes.
Like, oh, we know what goes, or we are a little bit more familiar what might go on in the classroom, but what does it take to make that happen? Yeah, so we really encourage the viewers to come out, come to a school board meeting. They meet twice a month, the second and fourth Wednesday of the month at the Lebanon Middle School at 6:30 at night. And come hear about what's going on. Be part of the process if you're interested. Pretty soon Saturday, November the 22nd, there'll be an all-day budget meeting. That's Saturday, November 22nd. There'll be an all-day budget meeting at Lebanon Middle School. And if you're interested, please come and see how the budget is put together. The work that both of these individuals in particular doing line by line, putting it all together. And if you're interested, to definitely come out, give us your input. Let us know how we're doing as well. And moving forward, we'll be holding a few community forums as we move forward for the superintendent search as well. And those dates are listed on the website at www.sau88.net. And be sure to check out the district calendar. It has all the events of all the things that are going on in the school district. And if you ever have any questions or comments, I invite you to contact me. You can find my contact information on the website as well. And we look forward to seeing you the next time. Thank you to my guests today. I really appreciate your taking the time to be here today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.